The Last Day and Sad Death of Marty Robbins. A major country singer of the 1950s and 1960s, Robbins crossed over to the pop charts with some of his biggest hits, including Singing the Blues, Don't Worry, and A White Sport Coat. Though accomplished in many styles, he was best known for his ballads about the Old West, especially El Paso. Versatile singer and songwriter Marty Robbins was one of the artists most successful at adding Western flavor to his country hits. Robbins was born Martin David Robinson on September 28, 1925, in Glendale, Arizona. His childhood was spent in a desert area where he received little exposure to music. Thus Robbins was particularly influenced by his father, who played the harmonica for Marty and his siblings, and his grandfather, Texas Bob Heckel, a traveling medicine man who told stories and sang songs about cowboys. Robbins also enjoyed going to see Western movies as a child, and he idolized singing cowboy star Gene Autry. It wasn't until he enlisted in the Navy at the age of 19 that Robbins began to actively pursue his ambition to follow in Autry's footsteps. While off duty, he learned to play the guitar and quickly began writing songs for the instrument. At the end of his 3-year hitch, Robbins returned to Phoenix, Arizona, where his family had moved when he was 12. A friend asked Robbins to play with his group, and, though he gratefully accepted, he soon realized he was able to sing and decided to form his own band. Robbins and the K-Bar Cowboys performed in Phoenix area clubs, eventually landing a job on a local radio show. It wasn't long before the station's television affiliate recruited Robbins to host his own musical variety show, Western Caravan. Though Western Caravan was a local television program, it was important enough to attract guests like country star Little Jimmy Dickens, who noticed Robbins' talent. Dickens suggested that Columbia, his own record label, audition the young musician. The company sent one of its executives to hear Robbins perform, and he was signed as a Columbia act in 1951. Robbins didn't create much of a stir with his first 2 singles, but Columbia had faith in their new discovery and continued to release his efforts. Finally Robbins began climbing the country charts with I'll Go It Alone and I Couldn't Keep From Crying. Because these hits were Robbins' own compositions, he attracted the attention of Acuff Rose Music Publishing, who signed him to a songwriting contract. Promoters for the Grand Ole Opry had also noticed Robbins, and by 1953 he had become a regular performer on its stage. Island music was a favorite of Robbins', and in 1953 he recorded the first of what would prove to be many Hawaiian and Caribbean songs. Country music's Rich Kienzle described him as a peerless Hawaiian-style vocalist, able to handle even falsetto singing. Robbins went on to record 2 complete albums of Hawaiian music Song of the Islands, released in 1957, and the 1963 release Hawaii's Calling Me. Robbins scored his first #1 country hit in 1956 with Singing the Blues. The following year, however, he became famous with pop fans nationwide when he released the smash White Sport Coat. Another of his own compositions, Robbins recorded the hit in New York with producer Mitch Miller and arranger Ray Conniff during the first of several sessions he had with the pair over the course of 2 years. He followed up this success with the singles She Was Only 17 and Stairway of Love, but it was not until 1959 that Robbins gave audiences his best remembered, trademark hit, El Paso. One of Robbins' many story songs, El Paso concerns a young man who shoots another man over a Mexican dancing girl. He flees, but is unable to stay away from the dancer and returns, only to be shot by a posse and die in the woman's arms. El Paso not only garnered Robbins his first Grammy Award, but received the first Grammy ever awarded in the country and western category. Western storytelling tunes and bluesy country love songs continued to do well for Robbins during the 1960s. He had hits with Big Iron in 1960, Don't Worry in 1961, The Melodious Devil Woman in 1962, and The Cowboy in the Continental Suit in 1964. In addition to music, the multi-talented Robbins also extended his versatility into the acting realm. He proved a competent performer in that arena as well, appearing in several westerns, including Buffalo Gun, his first film, released in 1962, Ballad of a Gunfighter, and The Gun and the Gavel. His last film appearance was a cameo role in the 1982 film Honky Tonk Man, starring Clint Eastwood. In the late 1960s, Robbins suffered a massive heart attack and underwent bypass surgery in 1970. According to some reports, he was only the 15th patient ever to have the operation. He recovered quickly, though, and later that year came back with his second Grammy-winning single, the love ballad My Woman, My Woman, My Wife. He even managed to tour extensively during the 1970s, performing in England, Australia, and Japan. Robbins had many interests, including cattle ranching and, as owner of several record labels and a movie production company, the business side of the music and film industries. His favorite, however, was stock car racing, which he took up in the 1960s. Robbins refused to let his heart trouble keep him from pursuing his hobby, and by 1972 he was competing professionally in National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing races against well-known race drivers. He did so well, in fact, that he was named Rookie of the Southern 500 by NASCAR that same year. In 1974, however, Robbins was involved in 3 bad racing accidents. Reportedly, in one of them, he deliberately drove into a wall in order to avoid broadsiding another driver, and he decided to rededicate himself to the music business. Robbins released another successful single in 1976 with El Paso City, a kind of sequel to El Paso. Although El Paso City was Robbins' last real hit, he continued to be an active recording artist and performed at the Grand Ole Opry almost until his death from another massive heart attack on December 9, 1982. Rest in peace, Marty Robbins. Goodbye, legend.